Hello guys, let's continue space. We continue to create magic. Today I want to show you a super simple lesson with alcohol ink, with synthetic paper, with canvas and epoxy resin, of course. What we need for work, a synthetic sheet or the base that you can cut easily on which you can draw with alcohol ink. The choice is yours. You can choose any budget base. The canvas I chose was the cheapest one actually, but the coolest is if you find an artboard. It's thicker and easier to work on, but let's work on canvas. Use disposable cups for the canvas to hold us. Choose paper ones so they don't warp. Ink, alcohol ink in my new favorite, Piñata. Before I worked with Muraba, and Muraba is really cool with mother of pearl, and I also like craft ink very much. Now I've switched to Muraba, spray paint, white and black paint. The first stage, we need to paint our canvas with you. You can paint it with black spray paint or like me with acrylic paint, but choose a dense one. And best of all, this one, you know, it's like a black wing, a crow's wing. It gives off blue, just like that. There's some grayness in this paint. I'd pick a different one and try a darker shade. You might not see it on camera, but I used an acrylic black outline before. It was really black. This paint isn't the same. It doesn't provide enough blackness. However, for my work, I'll be covering the top with resin and ink, so you won't really see this color. So if you're considering this paint from this company or another, try a different one. Look here, guys. We need to go over the ends well because these ugly staples are sticking out. I don't get why they don't make them flush. We'll paint them evenly, and I'll hide everything with a caramel cut edge so it won't show. We try to achieve an even primer, especially if it's spray paint. You've got black. It's easiest to do with black paint. You might need to prime it more than once. That is, see how it goes for you. What color of acrylic paint? You don't need to give it a lot of texture. You should have a pretty smooth surface, but no scratches, no grain. Nothing should be there. Everything's uniform, black even, so we let the paint dry. The next step is to sprinkle our cosmic dots. Wash the sponge. You'll need it again. Wait for the acrylic to dry. So the acrylic is dry. We take spray paint, shake it. Well, my students often ask me if you can do it with acrylic and toothbrush or a brush. You can use a brush with acrylic. It's just that it's quicker for me to make these drops with acrylic paint. Shake it, and it's like the paint is sneezing. It shouldn't paint it. It should drip a little bit into yours. Here I have glued it. You're blank fine. We need them, not so obvious, but that's okay. We'll paint over them, take a napkin, and get them wet. This is our comet that flew by, and we'll spray again there perfectly. That's it. Leave it to dry. So now we need to prepare. With alcohol ink for this, I glue my synthetic sheet with tape. Glue it for a reason so that it doesn't stick out like this. Please prepare isopropyl alcohol, alcohol ink, and any item with a fan. I have an airbrush. You can use a construction dryer or a regular hair dryer. Let's start. Shake the ink before starting, guys. It separates and doesn't pigment well. So give it a good shake. Prepare the inks you need. I'll have silver black sangria. I want brown too. Use a small amount of isopropyl alcohol. I have it in a jar. Ignore that I just poured it from a big vial. Here's a small amount with black here. Where's my black? A little bit of black, a bit of silver, there's a bit of brown too. We are now catching the ink in a circle, clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way you like. First, blend the colors if that's what you want. I need to. So, I've got some blank space here. Now I'm drawing our puddles. Now I'm taking Angria, I need to cover the whole space and the silver. Yes, melt the ink, and the next pouring of the puddle erases the previous one. I don't know, did you watch my previous tutorials on YouTube? If not, go watch it, it'll be helpful. I want to make it darker here and the drawing itself, so now I'm creating a mess, it seems. But it makes sense and you'll see it at the end of the work. I speak just like a real YouTuber, but that's how it is. I thought about going without gold, but I still want gold. So another puddle in the middle, gold, and another sangria, and another brown. Let it be brown on this side, and now I'm catching a puddle. I'm not directing the airflow straight, and you see, I'm creating my puddle on the sides, Yes, that's what you need with gold, what I need. So now my bottom part is completely naked. I'm going to bring these puddles that have accumulated to the bottom. That's it. Let it dry. So guys, the acrylic is dry. Get sharp scissors and a pencil. It's interesting. Has anyone guessed what we're going to do now, what I'm going to do? If you guessed, write at what second you realized what I'm going to create. So I need to understand, first of all, you need to look at the drawing you've got and look to the color transition you need. Okay, I got it. This is how I'm going to draw, so let's get to it. And I'm drawing the moon, the crescent moon. So now I'm going to make a sketch first. Draw a little lower than the letter C that we're used to drawing. And a thinner one with a wide extension right here, just like this. Yes, now we're going to cut with the scissors. We need sharp ones, so let's cut. I can't quite remember which one I left on the back. With what drawing? Well, it'll be more fun this way. I'll grab a bit more so there's a margin, if anything, to fix it by making it a bit smaller. So try to do it as evenly as possible in general, ideally with a utility knife, and cut it onto a flat surface. This way the drawing will be more perfect because from each movement of the scissors there are minuscule scars, so I'll further reduce it like this. Well, now we'll see. So, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, you see it, you see it. Now I'll slightly cut this corner, yes, yes, and now determine which side we're using. I like it like this. That's it, yes, my resin has warmed up. It's already heated, and I glue my moon with a hot gun. Not thickly, guys, right along the contour, quickly, so that the hot gun seals it, and try to gauge it with your eye so that it's even, so it's glued. Eat well now, guys, so that our moon does not spoil under the resin. We need to paint it with spray varnish, so we spray it with varnish and let it dry. So the resin is mixed, we pour it out. This is the most pleasant thing in general in the work. So here we act. Here, according to the principle of how we cover the finish, we applied it, waited for the resin to gain viscosity, warmed it up so that the bubbles came out well, applied it in the center without saving plush. See how the resin moves. If it moves, then we still wait. Let it polymerize on your surface. If it does not move, then distribute it according to our parameters, reaching the end. If you need a caramel edge, then a little later you can walk, stretch lower. At first you do not need to, so we remove the bubbles only after 5 to 8 minutes, because now if we remove them, then our resin will scatter, while I leave and make the caramel edge a little later.